This is about the house you are living in. Very soon a woman is secretly. Archangel Michael says. The wind knows the corners of your rooms better than anyone else, and it carries whispers that are meant for you. Tonight the house listens as closely as you do because something is approaching with quiet steps. A shadow prepares itself at the edge of your street while the lights inside your home soften. The walls remember the first night you slept there and the promise you made to yourself to find peace. That promise stands strong even as a new presence studies your doorway. There is a woman who walks without hurry and notices details others dismiss. She reads names on mailboxes and maps the rhythm of the neighborhood. She is not yet inside your life, but she has learned the shape of your door. Your house feels it before you do and reacts in small ways. A hinge sighs at the same time each evening. The air cools across your hallway as if someone opened a window without touching the latch. Your footsteps echo different tonight because you are meant to become aware. Your spirit and your home speak to each other through ordinary sounds. You hear the refrigerator hum as if it is practicing a warning. A timeline forms in invisible chalk across your floorboards. First comes a glance through a curtain from the far side of the street. Next comes a note of perfume that drifts in even though the glass is shut. You are not powerless inside your address. You are the keeper of thresholds and you assign meaning to every crossing. Strength answers when you claim it out loud. The woman moves with patience. She studies paths and times when doors open and close. She prefers places where routine paints a clear picture. Your routine begins to adjust with careful intention. You place your keys on a different hook and listen for how the sound settles. The house learns the new signal and agrees with your choice. Tonight your hallway becomes a corridor of memory. Every photo frame turns into a lantern that carries a fragment of your story. Each fragment glows with your dignity. A preparation begins that does not announce itself with noise. You choose where light will stand guard and where darkness will be thinned. You choose which objects will become witnesses. In the kitchen a glass of water becomes a promise of clarity. In the living room a folded blanket becomes a boundary made of kindness. On the porch a single chair becomes a lookout. You take 3 calm breaths and let your shoulders lower. Your heartbeat adopts a steady drum that your house can follow. The night respects steadiness. There are signals that appear when a stranger is planning a quiet approach. One signal is repetition that seems too perfect to be random. Another is a mistake so small it tries to hide inside coincidence. You become a collector of signals without becoming fearful. Fear weakens attention while steadiness sharpens it. You choose steadiness because it keeps your hands open and your eyes clear. A path has been traced near your gate. Pebbles remember footsteps even when the person returns the way they came. The garden listens to everything and never lies. You place a small object in a place only you would check. The object is ordinary and holds no price for anyone else. Its position will tell you the truth later. Your house appreciates thoughtful tests. It prefers gentle methods that do not harm the spirit of home. It invites your creativity and your quiet authority. The woman makes plans that rely on surprise. She favors moments when the mind drifts. She wants to enter the story before the chapter is ready for her. You answer by writing your own chapter first. You set the opening sentence by aligning your front mat with the seam of the door. You set the second sentence by turning on a light in a room you are not standing in. This creates a pattern that says the house is both awake and calm. Patterns speak without words and cannot be argued with. The night understands when a pattern holds. Your next step is to ground the rooms in your name. You speak your full name softly in the entryway and then speak the address. Names and places clasp hands when spoken with care. You continue through each room with the same calm pace. You touch the top edge of each doorframe with your palm. The gesture turns each doorway into a contract of safety. In the bedroom you smooth the corner of the bedspread. In the bathroom you align the hand towel like a horizon line. In the study you close the notebook that never asked to be left open. None of this is superstition. This is leadership inside the territory of your life. A house responds to leadership the way a ship responds to a steady captain. Outside, the woman pauses at the bend in the road. She studies the texture of quiet that surrounds your home. She prefers quiet that is uncertain but finds quiet that is owned. She hesitates because ownership of quiet is a language she cannot fake. She believes doors are just wood. She forgets that doors remember who has passed through them with good intent. You lower the window just enough for fresh air. You listen to the trees mark time with their soft hands. You let the old stories drift out so new ones can breathe. Your dining table becomes a map. The plates are small islands and the cutlery is a set of silver paths. You trace a route from the entrance to the heart of the home. At the center of the route is your voice. Your voice does not shout and does not tremble. It sets terms and the terms are kind but firm. These are your terms. People who enter must carry respect, honesty, and clarity. People who bring other things must remain outside. Your intention hangs in the air like a clear bell. Sound shapes space in ways that are not always visible. The house adopts the tone you just set. There is a practical side to sacred boundaries. You check latches without rushing so your hands memorize their condition. You know the difference between snug and almost snug. You confirm that your porch light is clean. You clean it if it is not. Clean light is brighter than dirty light even with the same bulb. You step back and see your home the way someone else might see it. You notice the lines that guide the eyes to the door. You correct those lines so they guide the eyes to the sky. Your mailbox becomes a sentinel. You empty it fully and leave nothing halfway. Halfway attracts half-truths while completion welcomes clarity. You carry a notebook and write new patterns for your week. Arrival and departure times vary within a range that suits your health. Variety creates a soft fog for anyone who maps you from outside. You choose 3 friends who stabilize your world. You place their names near the phone or inside your memory with strong anchors. Your house likes to know who could arrive with trust in their hands. You stretch your body and let your back lengthen. A house loves the sight of its keeper standing tall. Posture is a silent kind of armor. Now the story moves. The woman tries a closer path. She walks past the hedge like a tourist who does not want to admit she has a destination. She senses that something unseen is watching. That something is not anger. That something is the agreement between your house and your courage. She continues because plans become heavy when carried too long. She hopes the weight will lift if she moves. The weight increases because this is not her place. You open a journal and begin to write what you are willing to welcome. You list qualities that fit your life like accurate keys. The list becomes a filter that rests above your doorknob. The house stands with you. It moves air in slow circles and refuses to echo footsteps that do not belong. Floors have a way of warning when they choose to warn. Night folds and then opens again and you keep your pace. Your routines become luminous and consistent. Your spirit stays untangled. On the 3rd evening, a message tries to reach you through an object you rarely notice. It may be a garden ornament or a misaligned stone. You notice because you trained yourself to notice. You return the stone to its old cradle and the message loses steam. You do not feed it with fear because fear is a kind of fuel. You feed your house with steadiness and the flame stays soft and good. You check the boundary at the side gate and feel a missing screw. The absence felt like a whisper and you answer by fastening a new one. Whispers fade when attention arrives. You remember that homes gather stories from previous occupants. Some stories bless like gentle rain. Some stories wander like uninvited guests who do not find chairs. Your leadership tells old stories where to sit. No story is allowed to roam through your sleep. All stories must line up with the truth you live today. You decide to refresh the threshold with a subtle change. A small rug appears that did not exist yesterday. Its pattern resembles calm waters meeting a steady shore. The woman notices changes and becomes uncertain. Her plan relied on a picture that would stay frozen. Your living rhythm keeps repainting the scene. Uncertainty begins to work on her like a careful teacher. She feels the house looking back at her with a calm that does not blink. Calm is hard to approach with hidden hands. She tries one more test and leaves a faint trace near the step. The trace is a mark that hopes to be ignored. You see it during morning light and greet it like a problem that already found its solution. You wipe the mark from the step and the day brightens. The act tells your house you will not outsource your safety. The act tells the street that you are present in your own life. You speak to your neighbors with simple warmth. Warmth is different from disclosure. Warmth builds bridges while secrets keep their shape. You consider a small bell for the back door. You listen to its tone and choose one that sounds like confidence. Confidence does not need volume to be heard. Afternoon arrives with the kind of quiet that belongs to you. You cook something that fills the rooms with forgiving fragrances. Houses digest fragrance like food for memory. You open the windows for a few minutes to let the air trade places. You thank the breeze with a nod. Your breath becomes part of the breeze and the exchange feels equal. The woman watches from farther away now. Distance grows when a plan lacks the right soil. Your house becomes soil that grows only what you have planted. A letter arrives that tries to stir confusion. The letter uses official words but lacks a true signature. You hold it to the light and see the spaces where truth should be. You choose verification over reaction. You call the number that you trust instead of the number the letter wants. Authenticity answers and confirms your instincts. A stranger prefers urgency because urgency shortens thought. You prefer pace because pace preserves wisdom. Your house hums with this preference. You review the path from the street to your step. You remove obstacles that do not serve and place beauty where it belongs. Beauty is a type of protection because it attracts care. You oil the hinge that complained every night. The complaint dissolves into a silken movement. Small kindnesses to a house become a circle of quiet power. The woman returns once more at the hour when lights flicker on throughout the neighborhood. She feels both curious and excluded. Curiosity without respect loses its way quickly. She imagines that a door is a question that demands an answer. Your door is not a question. Your door is a statement that carries your name. You add a new practice at dusk. You stand at the threshold and breathe until your heartbeat becomes gentle again. Dusk respects people who greet it with gentleness. The house responds by relaxing its rooms. Sofas look more like safe harbors than objects. Corners soften and stop collecting worry. In the mirror you see the version of yourself that is fully present. Presence is more luminous than any light you could switch on. Presence is admired by the materials that built your home. You wipe the mirror with a clean cloth and leave no streaks. Your reflection feels like a companion rather than a target. Companionship steadies the mind. You write a simple sentence on a paper and keep it near the entry. The sentence declares that only sincere steps may cross this line. Sincerity is easy to recognize when you practice recognizing it. You think of the future without inviting dread. The future likes being envisioned with grace. Grace allows changes to enter without tearing fabric. The woman meets a boundary she cannot name. The boundary is made of tone, order, and quiet acts. She senses that the story will not open for her. She begins to step back and look for simpler places. She realizes that your house loves someone and that someone is you. Houses become difficult to touch when they are already held with love. Night completes another circle and your confidence thickens. Your path through the rooms now feels rehearsed in a good way. Your body learns each movement and rests inside it. You make tea and let the steam rise like a blessing you wrote yourself. The warmth moves through your fingers and into your thoughts. Thought warmed by kindness becomes accurate. You remember the small object you set as a test days ago. You check its position and find it exactly as you left it. A quiet victory takes a bow and then disappears into normal life. Your house rewards you with clearer mornings. Sunlight arrives wearing bright shoes and walks through the rooms happily. Dust motes dance like good news. You open your front door and allow daylight to occupy the threshold for a moment. Daylight plays with the edges and makes them shine. Edges that shine are harder to cross without permission. Your phone buzzes with a message from someone who truly cares. You answer without rush and speak in plain language. Plain language calms more than decoration can. You update a list of items that require small attention. A loose thread here and a wobbly screw there. Attention repairs both object and atmosphere. The woman fades from your timeline like a page you decide not to read again. She turns down a different street where unclaimed quiet waits for her. Your quiet remains claimed. Your neighborhood notices your steadiness even if no one says it. People move more kindly around a home that moves kindly within itself. Kindness becomes part of the weather near your gate. You add one more practice that keeps your house aligned with your life. You stand in the center of the living room each morning and choose one word to carry through the day. The word becomes a companion that keeps other words in good order. Your house adopts the word and repeats it softly through the vents and doorways. The repetition never becomes noise because it carries meaning. Meaning stabilizes space. You revisit the boundaries you set at the start of this journey. You find that they still fit, but now they feel lighter. Boundaries that match a life do not pinch. The staircase enjoys your footsteps because they are deliberate. Deliberate movement protects ankles and decisions. You ascend and descend like someone who owns time. You place a small plant near the window that needed something alive. The plant studies the light and returns gratitude in green. Growth answers growth. You store documents where they belong and keep copies where they cannot be harmed. Order removes food from the mouths of problems. Problems shrink when they cannot eat. Your evenings gain a new softness that never becomes weakness. Softness allows perception to arrive without effort. Perception guards more than force can. You sit on the porch and greet the street with a nod. A nod is enough because you have nothing to prove. You live here and your house knows it completely. The woman remains a figure that taught you to step forward into your own rooms with authority. Her approach became the lesson and the lesson became your new rhythm. Rhythm creates culture inside four walls. Your friends visit and comment on the feeling that meets them at the door. They do not know all the steps you took, but they can feel the result. Results can be felt without being explained. You cook a simple meal and let laughter hang on the lamps like garlands. Lamps love laughter more than dust. Dust gives up when laughter arrives. Night returns and finds you reading. Pages turn with the same steadiness that carried you through this story. You close the book and know that your own story is continuing well. The house hums like a content instrument in trained hands. You are those hands and you are that training. Practice has become ease. The mailbox rests and holds only what is meant for you. Deliveries come with correct names and honest intentions. Mistakes pass by without stopping. Your heart and your home now share the same spine. Courage travels easily between them. You are not waiting for trouble and you are not pretending it cannot exist. You understand that leadership in a home is an ongoing art. You renew it with small choices each day. You enjoy the art and accept its rewards. The street grows familiar again for good reasons. Familiar does not mean unguarded. Familiar means known and chosen. In the attic a box of old memories breathes without crowding you. Memory that breathes becomes wisdom. Wisdom organizes the past so the present can function. You care for the thresholds with a cloth and a bit of oil. The work is simple and honest. Honest work guards better than complicated gadgets used without attention. Your bed waits with a calm sheet and a pillow that knows your head. Sleep arrives because it trusts the room. Trust is the final lock on the door. The woman becomes a lesson that no longer requires your daily focus. You bless the lesson and release it. Release is not surrender and not forgetfulness. You wake to a morning that offers itself like a clean page. You write your name at the top like you wrote it on the doorways. The page accepts you and your handwriting steadies as you write. Your house and your spirit walk side by side now. They keep a respectful silence most of the time and speak up when needed. You enjoy the companionship. In this way the story reaches a quiet crest. The crest does not crash and does not recede too fast. It becomes a gentle new level where you live. Visitors who carry respect feel welcome and stay welcome. Visitors who do not carry respect lose interest and keep moving. Your house prefers the first kind and your life does too. Evening returns with a calm face. You light a single candle or switch on a single lamp and let the soft circle guide your thoughts. Soft circles reduce wasteful motion. You write a brief note reminding yourself that peace is maintained with steady acts. You place the note where you will find it without effort. Future you thanks present you for the favor. Your front step holds the imprint of the day without confusion. Footprints belong to those who belong. Even dust begins to behave in your presence. You store away every spare panic that used to live near your chest. There is no job for panic here. The house already has a team and panic is not on it. You rest because you have earned rest through presence. Presence has its own gravity and the day orbits it with ease. The night orbits it too and finds no reason to collide. When you finally close your eyes, the rooms lean into kindness. Kindness is the blanket above blankets. Kindness is the ceiling above ceilings. The woman is somewhere else learning her own lessons. Your compassion for someone you do not invite remains intact. Compassion does not mean access. You keep keys where they belong and you keep promises where they belong. Both click into place without drama. Drama retires when design takes over. Your door closes softly and the lock settles like a satisfied breath. This is the sound of a home that is loved by its keeper. This is the sound of a keeper who is loved by their home. The street sleeps with humble confidence because your corner is stable. Stability spreads the way warmth spreads from a mug. People who pass by walk a little straighter. This chapter ends without sharp edges. It ends with a sentence that looks like a path continuing forward. That path belongs to you and the house that holds you. You step into tomorrow with the same calm stance that carried you through tonight. The steps are yours and the floor agrees. Agreement makes fewer mistakes. You know what to do and you keep doing it. You know how to listen and you keep listening. You know how to lead and you keep leading. The rooms nod as you pass and the door smiles when you reach it again. This is how a house says thank you to the person who cares for it. This is how care answers back. Your address is no longer a point on a map. It is a living treaty between your heart and your surroundings. The treaty is clear and mutually honored. So the story rests here for now. It rests like a hand on a railing that holds firm. The night continues and so do you. The kitchen clock ticks with the reliability of healthy boundaries. The fridge hums in content companionship. Even the faucet seems to hold its breath a moment longer before it sings. You look around and see what you have built with simple acts. You feel the proof of your ownership of peace. Ownership does not require showmanship. Your house is a vessel that now sails in weather of your choosing.